Well, hello. Welcome once again to Stuff and Things, where I like to talk about stuff and occasionally even things. I'm your good friend Bradley, and today is a very pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. And on this pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things, we have many stuffs and things to talk about, including upcoming videos on the Stuff and Things channel and the Stuff and Things Plays channel. We will talk about whether or not my fancy new camera has made me a good photographer. We're going to get into the topic of the show, which comes via a question from our good friend Tyler, where he asks about my top 3 blends, or if I could only survive on 3 blends, which would they be? We're going to talk about 2 different packages I got, one from Sutliff and one from a Patreon supporter, Jason. And then, of course, we will end with your questions in hashtag askstuffandthings. Like I said, a lot to talk about. First subject, we mentioned upcoming videos. We are continuing with the Soma series on Stuff and Things Plays. I think the first 3 episodes posted this last week as you're watching this. The next 3 will be Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on Stuff and Things Plays. There may be some confusion or fear if you watch, I think it's the sixth episode of that series. I seem to get very angry. I seem to get very whiny and annoyed about the game as I'm playing it. But rest assured that I do continue playing the game. I got a little annoyed about a certain mechanic that was going on in the game, but I still enjoy the game a lot. I enjoy the story a lot. If you haven't checked out the series, you should, because it's a really interesting story filled with mystery, filled with sort of philosophical questions about what it means to be a human. It's pretty good. It's pretty heady stuff for a video game. And then as far as Stuff and Things, the main channel, this coming Wednesday we have a video kind of about photography. And I think it's quite interesting. It's something that I have been, I guess, not really realizing that I've been working on since I've gotten this camera, just trying to take pictures and what does it mean to take a photo versus a snapshot. And once you have a fancy camera, does that mean that you can be a good photographer? I mean, I think we know, most of us would know the answer to that question, but how does the equipment affect your ability to take photographs? How does it help you perhaps learn to become a better photographer through using equipment that is more high-end, more professional? I think it's a fun video. That'll be posting this Wednesday. I was going to be doing the revisited for Escudo, but it has not yet arrived. I had a way of procuring it, and I went ahead with that, but it isn't here yet. So that's going to be the next revisited. It's just not here. We also have Gaudreau Full Virginia Flake. That's another revisited that's going to be coming up. And then we have yet another revisited blend. Again, these will be kind of peppered out. We don't want to just do a big block of revisiteds in a row. But we have another one that was sent to us from our good friend Jason Buckner. We'll be talking about that towards the end of the show when I show you the packages, or at least the contents of the packages that I received from Jason and from Sutliff. So, lots of stuff happening on both channels. Some people have asked me about Cyberpunk 2077 on Stuff and Things Plays. That does come out next week. I can't decide what I'm going to play it on, but we will be playing it on the channel. And I know this isn't great for, optimization of people searching for my content, but I probably won't be playing it as soon as it's out. I want to finish Soma. I was thinking about interspersing Soma videos with Cyberpunk videos, but I think just for everyone involved, it makes more sense to just finish out Soma and then start Cyberpunk. So stay tuned for that as well. And then just more of everything. I want to do more guitar videos. I want to do, obviously, more pipe videos. We always do pipe videos, but I want to do things about photography and about music and about all sorts of things. So that will be coming up on the main channel. Coffee. So I mentioned that video that's going to be coming up this week where basically throughout the video I'm asking the question, now that I have this fancy new camera, is it making it easier for me to take good pictures, or have I suddenly magically become a photographer? And obviously we all know that there's a lot of skill, a lot of knowledge involved in being a good photographer. But it's just been fascinating, and I don't want to step on that video too much, but you'll see a lot of this in that video. It's been fascinating to me how having a more high-end camera has kind of forced me to become better at taking pictures. And obviously just you could put everything in auto mode and you could get some decent results. That's not really going to help you with composition and everything like that, but as far as exposure and shutter speed and all that stuff, you could do that and you could do okay. But from the very beginning, I've decided I'm going to shoot in manual because I want to really reinforce in my mind the relationship between shutter speed and aperture and ISO. And that's what I've been doing to varying degrees of success. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I can expose things pretty correctly all the time. I'm still really dialing in that relationship between the shutter speed and the aperture and everything. But it's been really fascinating. I've really been enjoying it. I've been trying to take my camera with me when I go places now just to have, because I'll be driving around, I'll see something, I'll be like, ugh, I would like to take that picture. And thinking less in terms of snapshots where there's a thing, now I have a picture of the thing, but as far as like composition and actually making something interesting and trying to tell a story with the picture, I'm not there yet, but I'd like to get there. And I think it would be fun to check in every once in a while. I've had this camera for a couple weeks now, a few weeks now, I guess, and it's been really interesting and really exciting to sort of relearn some things I'd kind of known because I used to take photography classes in college, but then also just develop this whole new familiarity with this age of a mirrorless digital camera and how that works. And I don't know, it's really fun. So you should check out that video on Wednesday. I think it's going to be pretty good, or at least interesting. I don't know if it's good. I shouldn't say good. I'll say interesting. Next, we sort of have our topic of the show, and this comes from a question from our good friend Tyler. I need to remember not to ask this question again when we get to hashtag #AskStuffandThings, but his question is this. He says,
Hey Bradley, hope you're doing well. I know that in the past you said that you would be content with just 3 to 4 pipe blends. Just out of curiosity, what would they be?
hashtag #AskStuffandThings. So, this is actually very clever, Tyler, because many people try to get me to give them my top 5 or my top 3 or my top 10 pipe blends. And I'm always very resistant to that because I don't know, I don't like top 10 lists or top 5 lists in general. I find that kind of reductive. Often my tastes are changing or they're always in flux. But if I had to pick today 3 blends that I couldn't go without, and I guess that's a little different because you're not actually saying these are the best blends, they're just saying they're the ones that you want, the ones that you would want to have access to. It's a good one. It's a good one, Tyler. I would definitely have to say Elizabethan. This is actually a tin of Dunhill Elizabethan, not Peterson, but there you go. Elizabethan obviously would be in there. And then you would think, okay, if these are the only blends I'm going to be able to have, I should have blends that are representative. So I have my Vapor, or I have my English blend, or I have my Balkan blend, or I have, and obviously if we're only talking about 3 or 4, he says 3 or 4, I think I'm going to go with 3. So you could say, okay, I'm trying to fill a category maybe, but for me, I just had Gawith Squadron Leader, and I enjoyed that a lot. Actually, right now, I've got some full Virginia Flake in this pipe, and I'm going to light it up. Now I know I've already picked Elizabethan. That goes without saying, but I'm tempted to include full Virginia Flake. And we just did the revisited of Squadron Leader. Could that be my English? Do I need an English? It would either have to be Squadron Leader or just Peterson's Standard Mixture, because Standard Mixture is just such a nice, good, basic English blend. I think I just have to go with Standard because it's so easy, it's so simple, and it just works so well. It does what it says on the tin. And And then I might throw full Virginia flake in there because it's fantastic. But I want something with burley in there, don't I? In the past, I would have said maybe Irish flake from Peterson, but it's kind of different now. It doesn't taste quite the same to me. Maybe Solani aged burley flake. So I could have the nice, okay, so I'll do that. I'll do, my Virginia will be Dunhill Elizabethan or my Virginia Perique. My English will be standard mixture, and then I will have a burley blend, and that will be Solani aged burley flake. I think that's gonna work. All right, thanks for the question, Tyler. But now we have other topics to discuss. All right, I mentioned I had a couple packages recently, and I have the contents of those packages here. The first one was from our good friend Jason. Jason is the one who made possible the revisited episode of Squadron Leader and who will also have made possible the revisited episode for Full Virginia Flake when that happens. But he sent me something else. He has a little missive here. He says, Bradley, Presbyterian is one of my favorite teas. The original review you did was great. You said that over the course of a week that it won you over and that you would purchase another tin. I always wondered if you did. Here is a tin in case you wanted to do a revisit. Jason Buckner. And he included a tin of Presbyterian mixture. I actually did purchase another tin, actually fairly recently, and I was planning on doing a revisited episode. Now I've got 2 tins, and that's fantastic because I did enjoy Presbyterian quite a bit. He also included this, Dunhill Elizabethan from, I believe, March 17, or March 2017. So that's nice, 3 years of age on there, so that was pretty much right before it went off the market. So that's quite nice as well. I will be looking forward to that. So thank you, Jason, very much. And then I got something kind of weird. This keeps happening, where Sutliff will send me a package to my P.O. box. The box will be like this big, and it will be filled with packaging paper, and then I root around in there and I pull one tin out, which is what happened this time. And the tin has no label. It just has in Sharpie, Sutliff, there we go, Kringle Flake 2020. I've heard of Kringle Flake. I've never actually had it. Let me just read you a little bit about Kringle Flake from Sutliff. Sutliff's Kringle Flake Holiday Edition 2020 presents a blend of blackened 10-year-old Virginias with 17-year-old Perique. Given the individual vintages of each of these components, the mixture offers an exceptionally mature flavor right out of the tin. A deep richness similar in character to a 10-year-old Virginia Perique. That maturity is further augmented by partially cavendishing the aged Virginias, steaming them for 1 hour before they're combined with the Perique and pressed into delicate flakes. Naturally sweet with a spicy, piquant character, the result is incredibly complex, with notes of stone fruits, earthy spice, and molasses dancing across the palate. Sounds quite interesting. I'm quite excited to try this. I don't know. See, once again, often Sutliff sends me things, I look them up, and then they don't seem to be available widely, so I'm like, should I actually do a review? I will see. Maybe nearer to Christmas, we'll pop this open, we'll try it out. I don't know why it doesn't have the label on it, because I saw the label online. It was available with a label. I don't know if it's just sold out or if they'll be getting more in, but this sounds good. Blackened red Virginia Flake with a 17-year-old Perique. Quite interesting. But now, gang, it is time for hashtag #AskStuffandThings, and that is where you ask questions to me, of me. If you would like to ask me a question, you would like it answered on the Sunday Stuff and Things, tweet at SAT Bradley with the hashtag #AskStuffandThings, and I will do my best to answer you on the next Sunday Stuff and Things. Also, if you are a Patreon supporter, you can ask me questions there, or I can sometimes answer questions from YouTube. Today, I would also like to start the hashtag #AskStuffandThings with a very belated happy birthday to Marcel. There was somebody whom I answered a question for, and then she had responded, and I didn't see the response, and she had asked me to wish her beloved a happy birthday, and I didn't realize that until just recently, so happy birthday, Marcel. I'm sorry it's so late. But our first question comes via Twitter from Matt Piccolo, at MattPiccolo3. Matt says, have you ever tried the Tom Howard pipe? I have a rusticated Rhodesian from them and I love it. I have not. And in fact, I have never even heard of a Tom Howard pipe. That makes me think that maybe I'm being an idiot. Tom Howard. Ugh. Is he just a very small American pipe carver? Oh, I think I have seen some Tom Howard pipes now. My brain is percolating a little bit, but no, I've never actually tried one or smoked one. If Tom would like to send me one to try out. In fact, if any amazing artisanal pipe carvers in the US or elsewhere would like to send me a pipe to try out, let me know. I know that most of them wouldn't though, because they wouldn't really get anything out of it because they can't keep up with orders to begin with, so there's no point in getting publicity. So I understand that. Next from Kidney Driver, at Driver Kidney, you seem to follow a fairly disciplined life. Is this accurate? If so, is it natural for you or does it take much effort? Do you think it would be helpful if more people lived a more regimented life? It's an interesting question, Kidney Driver. I don't know if I would say my life is disciplined, disciplined, or I guess I was combining disciplined with regimented maybe. Hold on, I need some coffee. Right, so I don't know if I would call it disciplined as much as routine, or that I thrive on routine, but then I don't know that that's necessarily the case either, because I don't always need to do the same thing all the time. But I guess I've just gotten to a certain age and I have experimented enough with how I live my life that I realize that there are certain things that I should do for my own well-being and my own peace of mind and state of mind. I like doing certain things at certain times, and I find that no matter how onerous the task may be, if you place it into a routine and it's something that you start to expect every day, it's not that difficult to do it. Things like working out, things like getting up early. I get up early almost every single day. During the week, I get up at around 5:30, 5:45, and on the weekend, I get up at 8 o'clock at the latest. And I'm just used to it. It's part of my routine. So it's not hard for me to get up early, and it's not a problem of me sleeping in all the time because it becomes a routine. Does that mean disciplined? Does that mean regimented? I'm not sure. It's kind of a difference of definition, I guess, or defining your terms. I do think that having discipline in your life is beneficial. It helps you to maintain an equilibrium, especially if we're talking about health, things that are good for you physically, things that are good for you mentally. If you just start forcing yourself to do things on a daily or weekly basis, whatever the case may be, eventually those things will become part of your lifestyle, and then you no longer really have to force yourself to do them. It's the same reason that diets don't work. If you have a problem with putting weight on and then you go to some extreme crazy diet and you do it for 2 months and you lose a bunch of weight, you know you're never going to be able to keep that up, because as soon as you lose the weight and you decide, okay, I don't need to be on this diet anymore, you go back to eating the way you did before. So instead of going on a crazy diet, you change little things about your routine and about the things that you eat, and you do those things, you do things that are possible to do, things that are possible to do every single day, and then you make that your lifestyle. You don't diet, you have a lifestyle. And that's kind of the way I am about, I guess, what I eat, exercise, things like that. I'm not some crazy, disciplined freakmonger. I'm just kind of moderate in a lot of things, so I'm able to stay fairly in shape. I don't overeat. I don't do a lot of things. I don't really drink to excess, but it's not me being super disciplined and regimented. It's just me folding those things into my daily life, into my routine, and making them my lifestyle, if that makes any sense. I don't know if that answers your question or not. And I guess the last question was from Tyler, which we already answered because it was the topic of the show. But now, gang, it's time for the best part of every episode, and that is where we thank you, the Patreon supporters. The people who support the channels on Patreon at $25 or more a month get a special shout out every week. We just have to say thank you. And we say thank you to our good friends Ryan McFadin, MDoftheNorth, Kirk Crompton, Private Eye, Cody Striegler, Glenn, David Gaudreau, Gus, Jason Buckner, Jen O'Side, and John Leone. Thank you all so much for your contributions. We would also like to thank the Maniacs, the crazy people who support the channels at $100 a month. People like Peter Straub and Bob Magee. Thank you all so much for your support. If you would like to support the channels on Patreon, there is a link in the description box below. Your support goes towards equipment, that camera that we're filming with, the lights that we're using right now, stuff like that, getting things in for a review. There is also merch available. There should be a link down below to an I Like Stuff and Things t-shirt or sweatshirt for men or for women. But if you cannot support the channel financially, having you as a subscriber really helps. Having you like the videos, share the videos, all that stuff helps us out quite a bit. And so we thank you for that as well. And thank you for watching. Please stay tuned for, I have nothing to actually show you, but the video that we'll be posting on Wednesday where we talk a bit about photography. I think it's fun. Also, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have our Soma series continuing. I believe it's the Friday episode where I get really annoyed and angry. It's probably entertaining. I probably look like a doofus while I'm doing it. And then we have all these other revisited episodes coming up, and we're going to be folding in just so many different things. There's too many things. Not enough time to film them in how, where, what. But that's all the time we have for this week's Sunday Stuff and Things. Until next time, until we meet again, I've been your good friend Bradley. You've been the audience. This has been Stuff and Things on a pleasant Sunday Stuff and Things. I'll see you later.